Yeah, so I was born into a pretty nice family. But when I was 5 years old, my dad passed away. When I was 14, my mom had remarried my stepdad, who was a great guy, and things were great. It was like, this is what life is supposed to be about. And then he suddenly died of a heart attack. And then our life really fell apart. So I was raised in the faith, but around the time I had turned 18, I really wanted to reset to zero. So I thought, okay, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in anything. And this is what it means to be a man, is to work hard all day long and come home and have nothing left for anybody else. So all of this came to a head one night. I was falling asleep while eating the dinner, and my wife got frustrated with me. I remember out of anger, I pounded my fist on the table, but I actually pounded my fist on the plate of food and exploded it. You know, she took the kid and they went to bed, and I ended up spending the evening cleaning up, you know, the broken glass and the food. And the next day, she sent me a message and said, the baby stepped on a piece of glass that you missed last night. And I realized, like, something has to change. I can't keep doing this. I went into a bathroom in a restaurant and I locked the door and I looked in the mirror and I prayed for the first time in maybe 10 years. And I was like, Jesus, you probably don't even know me, but if you can hear me, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I didn't hear anything audibly, but it was like every single thing in my body told me, you need to just leave. And I left. I moved here to Colorado. And after about 10 years of being here, my depression, my anger is probably the worst I had been. This is when I feel like I started showing anger towards strangers in public, in places where it was inappropriate. I went from now I pound the table to now I flip the table. My wife was really looking for some community, and she felt isolated. And she goes, I found this church that was recommended to me by somebody, and I want you to check it out because it's just like, I really don't want to go, but we'll do it for the kids. So before we walked in, she goes, how am I gonna know if this place is good or not? And I said, listen, if the people are rotten, then the church is probably rotten. If the people are nice, then it's probably a good church. So we go in, and the first person we meet is Angie Gunderson. She's like the sweetest, softest person. And I mean, the moment that I met her, I think I was so instantly softened. She was just the perfect person for me to meet. She was so sweet and welcoming. So I go to walk into the sanctuary, and there's this guy standing at the doors of the sanctuary. And he goes, oh, wow, a man leading his family into the sanctuary with a Bible. Love to see it. And then the service starts. And then here's that guy that met me at the doors, and now he's leading the band and he's singing. I made a concerted effort after that sermon to go and find that guy that I didn't like, because I thought there's a reason why this guy is bothering me. And I think it's because he's going to be important to me. So I went and I introduced myself to him. Hi, my name's Pastor Danny. And I said, hey man, teach me what this whole thing with music is. I'm a musician. What is this about? How does this work spiritually? So he gave me some scripture. And I went home and I studied it, and I realized, like, wow, music is like a weapon. Just like, I think it's 1 Samuel where David plays the lyre and drives away the evil spirits. It's like I really felt like that's what was happening to me. Like suddenly I felt a lot calmer and less angry. And through these people, he was speaking to me loudly. And I fell back in love with God like I hadn't since I was a child. And in doing that, I started falling in love with people in a way that I never have. And in doing that, I just want to serve them. You know, if you told me a year ago that I'd be at church on average 3 to 5 times a week, I would want to know, like, what crime did I commit has sanctioned me to be at church this much. But I just love it. And that's one of the things that I think about a lot is, you know, I live really close to the church and I drove by it all the time. And to think for 5 years, I lived 2 blocks away from like the best friends that I'll ever have. Sometimes I get a little bit sad about that I let that go for so long. But I'm just so grateful to have it now.